Hi everybody, I'm just here to demonstrate some safe handling of larvicides. Today we're going to talk about larvicides for mosquitoes that we use. As you can see, I have my safety glasses on, my safety vest, and some safety gloves here for handling it. Alticid pellets is one of the main things that we put into catch basins. If something's put into a separate bag, it needs to be labeled with the name brand, Alticid pellets, the active ingredient methoprene, and the PCP number. Just so you know, that's how you have to transport it if it's taken out of another bag. So with Alticid pellets, generally what we're doing is we're taking just a pinch load, which is actually just 2 to 3 pellets. 2 to 3 pounds is 0.7 grams. If you're asked by, a Ministry of Environment person, how are you applying to catch basins, you're basically going to say, I'm applying 0.7 grams per catch basin. If you see a double catch basin, you'll do a double application. Alticid pellets can get really quite dirty to handle. So what you want to do is make sure you're wearing your gloves. If you're touching a vehicle, touching your scooter, then what you want to do is at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're, taking a wiping down any of the steering wheel that you're handling, any of the scooter stuff that you're handling, and you want to clean up before you have a lunch break or anything like that, and just make sure that you wash yourself up. There's very actually little ingredient of methoprene in the pellets, but a lot of it is inert ingredients that are just there to sit into the catch basin and slowly dissolve. Methoprene is an insect growth regulator. It was used in flea collars around pets before. Has a very, very low mammalian toxicity, so very little of the active ingredients actually in there. But you just need to be careful about everything that you're handling and cleaning up at the beginning and end of the day. There's another form of Alticid that's an Alticid briquette, and it looks basically just like that. Some regions may be using this, but basically it's also something that's meant to break down very, very slowly into the catch basin and dissolve slowly over time. I believe that briquette is actually only around 2% methoprene, so not very much. A lot of inert ingredients. Again, what you want to do if you're handling it is just make sure that you're using your gloves and wipe everything down. Something else that we put into catch basins near environmentally sensitive areas is a Pestalto WSP, standing for water soluble pouch. What it is basically a granular that's designed to be put into, the pouch can just be dropped into the water. It's a water soluble pouch. So basically we drop that into the catch basin and it slowly dissolves. This is basically a very safe product to handle. Again, really just your gloves are what you need for safe handling of this product. It doesn't really sink to the bottom, so basically it's just used in some catch basins and in and around outflows to environmentally sensitive areas. So that's basically what we're putting into catch basins. If you're handling the Alticid pellets and putting into bags, generally you can do that quite easily. If you're trying to empty a jug of granules, I would suggest that you go do it outside. Down near the bottom, you may get just a little bit of dust, so I would do that outside, just so you don't get the dust all over it. Now, another product that we're putting into catch basins is Nisperon, and it is a 0.12 CRD, which is a controlled release device. Basically, it has an active ingredient, Nova-Uron. It's actually used on food crops right now, so a very safe product to handle. That is really just a wax blend. It's aqueous and non-aqueous waxes. What we will be doing is we will be applying 4 of those to a catch basin. So what you need to do is just make sure that you have your rubber gloves. And since it is a wax, please don't leave it inside your windshield of your vehicle or something like that, in July and August, because they will melt. So if you're out there for the day, indeed, you can use them, but please don't leave them out there, in the afternoon in your vehicle, because they will start to melt under high heat. Basically, that's a very easy product to handle and care for. There is also an Alticid granule. We don't actually use this one very often at all. It's very similar to the Alticid pellet, but it can indeed be used in sewage lagoons and stuff with high organic matter. It can be used at rates quite a lot higher, up to 20 kgs per hectare. Again, we probably are not going to get into using that product unless it's a sewage treatment plant and there's a lot of organics. Next, what I'd like to show you would be just some larvicides that we use for standing water. So one of them here is a Vectobac 200G, which basically stands for granule. This is what we use in standing water. Excuse me. So it is a bacteria. It's naturally occurring, found in the soils, and it's fermented up, and then it's adhered to a ground up corn cob granule. So again, if you're handling this, some safety glasses, some safety gloves. Most people are not going to have a reaction to this. It really doesn't get activated until that granule hits into the water and then gets dispersed. I tell people this is probably one of the safest products that we could be using. We could put that into standing water. Their pets could go right in there afterwards, drink the water. It's not going to affect them because really it affects the mosquito because their midgut is alkaline. Everything else, most other organisms' stomachs are very acidic, so it's a very, very safe product to use. There's actually other organisms in the water column that can eat that stuff up as food, and that's really won't affect them whatsoever. There is the product also that we use inside the Vectolex here is a Basilicus spiricus or a Vectolex CG. It's the same thing that's in these water-soluble pouches, very similar to the Vectobac BTI, but this one actually has a little bit of a residual activity to it, and it might take just a little bit longer to work. But again, pretty safe things to handle if you're out there, your gloves, safety glasses, and just make sure that you're washing and cleaning up after you're done. One thing I did want to mention that is if you do have a spill, you're going along and you've spilled some of that Alticid pellets on the ground in the bottom of your vehicle, what we'd really like you to do is basically just sweep that back up, put it back into the bag, and reuse it. This is meant to go in catch basins where there's a lot of organic material, so it won't matter if there's dirt and debris. In fact, all the dirt and debris from the road gets into the catch basins, and this stuff works quite well in that. So please, if you do happen to spill some of that, just kind of sweep it up, put it back into the bag, and reuse it. It's still good. that's basically what I wanted to show you with the larvicides there. Like I said, just when you're done, just make sure that you're doing a little bit of a cleanup before you go and have lunch. Be careful, about touching your face, having a cigarette, and again your eyes. Your eyes can be a very keen, point where you can get pesticide, poisoning in through your eyes. The stuff that we're handling is very inert, and it's pretty non-toxic for the most part, compared to some other products that I used. I'm just going to show you how to mix up the BTI liquid outside, and if you have any questions, you can let me know after.